Tonight, the Electoral Commission and Imani Africa braces for a showdown after the think tank dragged the commission before Shraj, alleging corruption and conflict of interest in the procurement and disposal of biometric voter management systems.
The previous EC procured new machines in 2016. You came and procured machines in 2018 and even 2019. Some of them costing close to $3,000, spending close to $15 million on these machines. How come all these machines are dead?
We have details as Imani Mall overtaking the issue further to the office of the special prosecutor.
I wouldn't even go as far as suggesting that some corruption issues may probably be rising, because we are likely to petition the special prosecutor. So I won't put some of the issues out right now.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
The Electoral Commission and think tank Imani Africa are tonight bracing for a showdown before the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj. Imani is alleging that the EC has breached the Constitution, well as other statutory and administrative regulations in its disposal of some BVRs and BVDs. Both Imani and the EC have been engaged in the public spat over the current controversy. Imani is also mulling over a potential referral of the matter to the office of the special prosecutor. We'll hear from the EC shortly. They've been addressing a news conference ahead of tomorrow's limited voter registration exercise. But my colleague, Kweku Asante, with the Legal Affairs Desk, has been poring over that petition to the Shraj and joins me right now via Zoom. Kweku, first of all, let's get a sense of what this petition says.
Well, Evans, according to Imani Africa and their leadership from the very top hierarchy, Franklin Kojo and Co. are the ones signing this petition to the Shraj. They say that they are gravely concerned by the EC's handling of the nation's scarce resources in the discharge of its duties. And in fact, they quote specifically from this document that I want to quote. It says, which we conduct, we believe amounts to misappropriation, wastage, and misuse of the said resources. They claim that the EC conduct appears to them that there's some conflict between the EC's duties under the various laws to judiciously apply the resource of this country for the good of the citizenry. On the other hand, they claim the EC has a tendency to take decisions that are favorable to various commercial vendors and transactions. And they also say that they believe the EC's most recent conduct has been necessitated by the need to curtail transparency and accountability, which was motivated by a collective conflict of interest, Evans.
And they also accuse the EC of attempting to evade accountability?
Yes, in fact, all this having to do with the obsolete materials that the EC said they have auctioned. Imani claims in this petition that the EC's approach to disposing of these electoral items was partly dictated by a need to suppress inventory records and to evade accountability in light of the spirited campaign that civil society organizations have waged against EC since 2020 to debunk the EC's claim that some equipments that the EC had claimed in 2011 that were procured in 2011 were obsolete, and the need to facilitate undue commercial profiteering by the beneficiaries of the EC's disposal methods.
So what exactly are they asking Shraj to do?
Well, they have a number of issues that they are raising before Shraj. They say that at the core of this petition is the case that the EC's BVMS, which was through an award of various multi-million-dollar contracts to Tails, and they mentioned the company here, they contend that by classifying all these various legacy equipment as obsolete, instead of clustering them properly into sets based on their actual acquisition date, state or condition, brand or make, and by the other pertinent characteristics, the auction was rigged from the outset to hand over a large number of valuable legacy equipment to lucky buyers who will be able to benefit from their resale. Again, Imani contends that a purported request for a valuation report from the state valuer and the seeming compliance with the Board of Survey regulations were compromised by failure to ensure adequate categorization of these legacy equipment. And they say they have made inquiries and I've been informed that the special processes for destroying sensitive electronic media in the case of these obsolete, in the words of the EC, equipment were not followed by the EC, and that the winning bidder nor the aforementioned recycling plants have all not followed these processes to destroy sensitive electronic media that were on these obsolete materials.
Really strongly worded the petition there to Shraj by Imani and Kweku. Earlier, we've heard that the subject of corruption is one that Imani itself may take to the special prosecutor. But in this petition, there is mention of corruption.
Yes, Evans. In fact, they talk about the abuse of public resources and power for private gain, which they say has been universally acknowledged as the definition of corruption. They say that ultimately the EC's conduct in this affair breaches the high standards expected of such a major constitutional body and constitutes other infractions of laws, regulations, and standard protocols relating to the management of electoral system, data protection, and public financial management. So they make these claims against the EC in the disposal of these obsolete items and top it all up by claiming that the Electoral Commission and their top hierarchy might have engaged in conduct that breaches the high standards expected of such a major constitutional body.
Kweku, thank you very much. I want to take you to the Electoral Commission headquarters now, where my colleague Kenneth JC has just been covering that news conference, which was called primarily to address the issues around the limited voter registration exercise, where it begins tomorrow. But the Electoral Commission also took some questions on this raging controversy around the BVDs. And I want to bring in Kenneth now. And Kenneth, the EC emphasized today, did they not, that they've actually saved this country money in the way they've gone about procurement?
Yes, they have. The EC actually mentioned that in 2016, for instance, they spent $17 per head to do the registration, and in 2020 they got.
Kenneth, you will have to reposition. I'm struggling to hear what you're saying. Hello, Kenneth? Well, we may have lost him there. We'll try and get him back on a better connection. But listen to Madam Jean Mensa, who's the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, addressing that issue of the EC's determination to ensure that what they do as far as procurement is concerned guarantees value for money, but also saves this country resources.
Ladies and gentlemen, over the last few months, we've invested a considerable amount of time into procuring our materials and logistics for the registration exercise and the election as a whole. Since 2020, we have adopted an open competitive bidding process as the method of our procurement. As such, with approximately 95% of our procurement advertised in the local newspapers, we are able to obtain value for money for our services and for materials. It has equally injected competition into our procurement and drastically reduced the prices at which we procure our materials. It is not a wonder that we managed to lower the cost of our election from $13 per head in 2016 to $7.70 per head in 2020, and saved our nation a substantial amount of $90 million United States dollars.
Kenneth is back on the line. Kenneth, did the Electoral Commission address specifically the issues surrounding this petition? Are they aware of this petition? Have they been served?
Evan, I believe you can hear me. The Electoral Commission did say that it has yet to come to their notice of Imani Ghana or Imani Africa dragging them to Shraj, but they did indicate that with their procurement, it was fairly done. They went through some IPP, and then the finance ministry was also involved. So there is no, malice in the procurement of their EPE whatsoever being alleged by Imani Africa and other groups. They also did mention that there is no truth in the fact that people are saying that the people who will be manning the elections, the registration process tomorrow, that is the returning officers, the names of those returning officers were given to them by MNDCE. They have, in fact, mentioned that all the returning officers that will be manning the registration exercise tomorrow are persons who have at least 80 years working experience with the EC. So all the people who are involved in that exercise have worked with the EC for the past 8 years intermittently. They also did indicate that the two individuals that were captured in the viral video being given an envelope by part of UMP, Kingsley Nyako, they have also under investigation, and they will not be part of the process that will be taking place. 623,000 people are expected.
Okay, apologies there. That connection there isn't great. But my colleague there, Kenneth JC, is with the Electoral Commission, is at the Electoral Commission right now, shortly after a press conference addressing the specific issues relating to the limited voter registration exercise, which begins tomorrow. But of course, the Electoral Commission have also been addressing these issues. Remember that this issue had been one that they've been dealing with in the public domain, following Imani's own concerns that they've raised, which is now a subject, or possibly could be a subject of a Shraj probe. I want to bring in right now Franklin Cudjoe, who is the founding president of Imani, joins us on the line right now. Franklin, thanks for your time here on Top Story.
Pleasure as always, my brother.
I noticed that this petition was dated the 4th of May. Have you received a notification acknowledgement from Shraj?
Well, we submitted everything today, this morning, electronically, and then physically as well. By 12 a.m., all those processes were done. I'm actually yet to check whether they reply the electronic. We know that they were received at the registry today in the morning.
On the substantive issues, though, the Electoral Commission had taken the liberty to issue press statements on some of the allegations you made in the petition. Fundamentally, they reject the suggestion that there have been some procurement breaches and the processes surrounding the disposition of the obsolete BVDs were violating protocol or violating laid-down procedure. For example, they make the point that the auction was conducted transparently and all procedures were strictly adhered to, and the proceeds from this auction were duly deposited in the consolidated account. What's the evidence that something untoward had happened?
Well, first of all, you just got to go back in time to understand the reasons why we brought it up. We are alleging incontrovertible evidence that the EC lied when it told that since all the biometric verification machines they had, the BVM machines they had for the election, which were procured in 2011, had come to their end of life cycle, more or less. They were dead. We started this campaign in 2020 and proved to Ghanaians from records from Parliament, and I have a copy with me. They are all of them contained in the petition, by the way. 2017, you see 2019 budget estimate, but you see past years, the ones that were paid for. So 2017, for instance, you see this already budget sub-program resource statement. This was Parliament, by the way. 2017 and 2018. In 2018, by June 30th, they have replaced BVR kits, 2,000 of them. And in 2019, another 1,500 with cycle alone. In fact, if you go back and look at the Auditor General, before the Auditor General, 2017 and 2019, they were procuring and replacing these very machines that they claim were part of all that were computed dead from 2011. In fact, in 2016, the EC at the time replaced 500 of these in 2016 as well. The representation made by this current EC to Parliament, and I can probably read a bit of it for you to see. The officials of the EC confirmed the committee that the Commission required the amount to upgrade its data center, acquire 5,000 new BVR kits, in addition to 7,500 kits refurbished in 2016, and 5,000 new ones for the pending district level elections, scheduled for September next year, and the referendum in 2019. Now, this is what the committee parliament said. The committee noted that the electoral commission requires an amount of 979 million cedis to undertake critical election-related activities for the referendum and then the district level election. The commission informed the committee that the amounts will be used to procure new BVRs, BVD, refurbish existing ones, upgrade the commission data center, and undertake voter registration in preparation for future elections. This is all before 2020. We woke up 2020, January, 3 weeks after the district level elections. This EC came and told the whole world that every equipment they have in their home, in their home, they're all dead because they were procured from 2011. I said, but how can that be? It's not possible. You just use these machines. You were buying some of them from with evidence from Parliament. Auditor General's report clearly showed that you were spending millions and millions on these machines anyway. So where are those machines? So you see, our charge here is that by now going to burn those so-called auction those equipment they claimed all the way from 2011, our greatest fear is that it includes these very ones that were procured in 2018 and 2019, for which they claimed they were all dead by January 2020. So we are asking that it is most likely that in the course of this auction, which was obviously done in secret, we don't even know who the auctioneers are not even proper, they are not certified. Some of those who bought the materials are also not properly certified. This process could actually have meant that they sold prime equipment to certain people and laughing all the way to them.
But the
so
EC,
it's not a small matter we are dealing with.
No, but frankly, the EC had stated and produced some evidence to back the fact that the BVDs and the machines you talk about, the original equipment manufacturers and managers of the Commission's biometric infrastructure had written to them, informing the Electoral Commission that the equipment you refer to are indeed obsolete. The EC had said that they did not only point to that, they also told the EC in writing that it had reached end of life and that if they continue to use the equipment, it will jeopardize the integrity of our elections. Isn't that the real issue here, why the EC had to go ahead and make the procurement and dispose of what they have, which had been branded as obsolete?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can, frankly.
Great. You see, and that's what they did on Saturday. They sort of justified my favorite word from Bryce Simmons and centered all of that. That letter actually claims that the biometric verification machines bought since 2011. That's what they are saying. We are contesting the fact that you couldn't have purchased these new machines in 2018 and 2019 per the records in Parliament, and you would now have been dead by 2020, 3 weeks later. I mean, how possible is that? So that letter they read may have been in reference to 2011, because that's what they claim, that all the equipment they were destroying or that come to the end of life cycle were purchased in 2011. And we have shown proof that it is not true that all the machines they had prior to 2020, for which they collected almost $170 million from Ghana to procure new ones, were not all dead. I mean, this is how simple the argument really is. In fact, we spoke to the same people they claimed they spoke to, and some people, they have suggested that, look, it's not possible that even for those that were procured in 2011, it's not possible that every aspect of it to be dead. It's like you have a camera, you have a laptop, you have a verification machine. One may be obsolete, one may be useful, some other part may be useful. But here we are dealing with the fact that our whole argument is not based on necessarily on all the ones procured in 2011. We are saying that prior to 2020, they told us that every equipment they had that they have purchased were all kaput and dead, and so they needed new procurement money, and Ghana gave them close to $100 million to procure new machines. I mean, I guess that's where we are basing most of our arguments really on. So, and we are saying that by that single lie, which we exposed, it tells you that now that they've gone ahead to auction this surreptitiously, it is most likely that these machines are also included. And in any case, the process they claim is kosher is really not kosher, because if you look at the guidelines that we found out, those guidelines do not meet the guidelines what Sribos spoke about. So these are not light matters we are dealing with at all.
You
have to unpack the issues. And unfortunately, on Saturday, it appeared, I don't know, it appeared many people thought that he had answered all the questions. He really hasn't. Because we were saying that you said every equipment in your fold by 20 were procured in 2011, and we are saying it's not true, because as of the Auditor General's report, May 2016, the EC paid 2.1 million Ghana cedis for voter registration kit. October of 2016, they paid 10 million cedis for the same kit. And December 30th, 2016, they paid another 10 million to these service providers.
I mean, but how do you reconcile? How do you reconcile the figures you just been talking about to the EC's continued reference to how they've successfully managed procurement and elections to the point where they've reduced the per voter cost of elections from $13 in 2016 to $7.7, in fact $7, just $7.670,
Evans,
right? In 2020, if they were that wasteful, how can they arrive at a massive savings of $90 million?
Well, Evans, first of all, this is basic reasoning. Really, I mean, the fact that the numbers have increased doesn't mean that you should even be reducing costs. Look, the way you calculate those costs, you include all costs involved in the elections. It's not just an aspect of just buying some equipment and then you come and divide the figure. That's the juju mathematics cerebral engaged in. Go and read how they calculate per capita cost of elections all over the world. It's not true. That's not the way they do it. He said they don't add operational costs and all of that. I mean, then who runs elections? Are they run by robots? Don't you pay administrative money for that? They go to parliament and collect all this money and add to it. They're telling us that we are stupid, right? They only collected money to buy a machine. The machines themselves conducted the election. So we should remove the administrative cost, operational cost out of it. I mean, does this make sense?
So the petition...
This is simple. Nobody is a lie. They are lying.
Yeah, frankly, just a quick one. The petition to Shraj then, what's the end game here? What do you want from Shraj?
Well, we want Shraj to basically untangle all these issues we are dealing with, right from possibly they may, Shraj is a very serious institution sometimes. They may go into uncharted waters, look at all the aspects of, procurement. But our current trust actually is the way they were jettisoning and disposing of this machine. So it will start from there, and they may go into, I don't know, I can't tell what Shraj will do. But if you followed Shraj's work in the not too distant past, even when Broja Jefi sent a petition that was not correctly, not really well done, Shraj actually went ahead and did one of the best reports work that we've seen so far. So however it goes, well, look, we are just doing our duty as a country. Imani has no problems with anybody at EC. We have problems with an institution that engages in shady procurement and wastefulness. When the IMF boss came recently to Ghana, they claimed they did elections for what? When the IMF boss came recently, what did she say? He said the elections, the amount of money spent on the election contributed to economic mess.
Frankly, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you joined us. And that is the founding president of Imani Africa there. Their petition had gone to the Shraj today. The EC had told us today at the press conference that they are not aware of the petition just yet. I want to bring in two main stakeholders in this whole process. Haruna Mohammed is the MPP Deputy General Secretary, and Musa Fagbande is the NDC Deputy General Secretary. Mr. Mohammed, to you first. So this has gone to Shraj now. You are a major stakeholder in the process. You share the concerns articulated by Imani, for which reason they've gone to Shraj?
Evans, thank you very much. I want to say good evening to our cherished listeners. I have not had the opportunity to read the petition that has been sent to Shraj. I have not also been able to appreciate myself with all the facts available to Imani in terms of this particular petition and the matters arising in that. I have a summary brief of that, and I believe that whatever that is going to lead to transparency, we, the political parties, are all for it. I've also heard that the Electoral Commission has said that they are not aware that a petition has been sent to Shraj and copied them. However, whatever the due processes are, I believe that we have to follow through those particular due processes to get these acts being done properly and then being executed.
Mustafa, where does the NDC stand on this? Hello, Mustafa Bande. Okay, we don't have Mustafa Bande, but thank you very much, Haruna Mohammed, for quick thoughts, giving us a perspective from the New Patriotic Party. Well, as you know, this issue relating to BVDs, BVRs, and biometric verification devices, including laptops, have been raging, including a case of theft of EC equipment. Part of that was in court today, and my colleague with the Legal Affairs Desk, Latif Idris, is in the studio with me. You were in court today. What happened?
Yeah, so today, if you recall, at the last court hearing, one of the accused was granted bail. 3 others were thrown into police custody. Today, all 4 of them showed up in court, and the prosecutor made a case for another adjournment for them to complete their investigations, but the court declined that and has given a bail to all 3 of them. So in addition to the earlier guy who was given bail, 3 other accused persons were granted bail today. They are expected to appear back in court on the 5th of June for the trial to continue.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. And that is an update from court on an aspect of this controversy relating to the theft of EC equipment. And as you know, we're keeping a close eye on the limited voter registration exercise, which begins tomorrow on Newsnight, which begins in a couple of minutes. We'll be focusing quite a bit on this after the EC's press conference and also hearing from first-time voters.
I send them, you get them. I get them, I send them.
I get them.
I pay them.
Telesale cash. I get them. I pick them. Telesale cash.
You get them.
I send them. Telesale cash.
I send them, you get them.
Telesale cash.
I get them.
I buy them. I take them.
I pay them. I send them.
Telesale cash. Telesale cash.
Experience the ultimate convenience of sending money on Telesale Cash. Sending money from Telesale Cash to Telesale Cash is free. You can also make payments to merchants on all networks. Enjoy best value and total security with Telesale Cash.
Telesale, connecting energies.
Showtime, good life time. Paddy, how is your good life?
Hey, before you attack that sumptuous variety of foods with Toto, do yourself a favor.
Wash your hands with soap under running water, your bowl before you eat, and at all other critical moments. That is,
before you cook, after you visit the toilet, change your baby's diaper,
and when you return home from anywhere.
Let's all come aboard Good Life by washing our hands with soap under running water and at all other critical moments to keep the germs away from our family. Good Life, live it well. It's an everyday thing. Good Life from Ghana Health Service and partners with support from USAID.
Live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. This is Newsnight. In the next 60 minutes, 1 person injured, 8 cars crushed by falling trees following a windy rainstorm in parts of Accra this morning. Tonight, the Ghana National Fire Service is warning against seeking refuge close to weak structures and trees as the Met Agency projects more of such storms in the coming days.
You see going to rain, be careful where you take refuge so that no disaster will happen.
Also tonight, there's a glimmer of hope for victims of the Akonsombo Dam spillage as the government pledges to complete 115 housing units within the next 2 months.
We will not honor illegitimate.
However, residents are expressing concerns about the validation process conducted by the Ministry of Works and Housing, insisting that it has not been conducted fairly. Also tonight, Minority claim to have uncovered what it describes as a dubious arrangement to hand out Ghana's gas resources to a private company, warning of dire consequences.
We will not honor illegitimate, illegal, opaque, clandestine contracts that goes against the Republic of Ghana. And so let me caution these private entities that you follow these politicians out of their greed at your own peril.
And there's no justification for an upward adjustment in transport fares. That's the words of the Transport Ministry as it describes the new fares being charged by transport owners as unlawful. We have details of that.
And in business, we'll be hearing from the IMF that is actually challenging claims that its framework for debt restructuring hasn't been helpful to countries like Ghana.
And in sports, Ghana 4x100 relay team is poised to make a mark at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games after an impressive outing at the World Relays in Bahamas.
In the era of Doomsday, which is profoundly different from Doomsaw. Doomsaw, as inflicted on Ghanaians, has only happened His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's governance.
It's not Doomsday, it's Doomsaw. We get power of 4 or 5 times a day.
Is it not Doomsaw? What are they saying during the night? The same people you think they are dumb, the same people will go and vote you. After you get the power, then you think they don't have sense.
As frustrated Ghanaians bare teeth at Energy Minister insisting power outages are still rife. Despite claims that the problem has been solved, we have our Doomsaw diaries today and put the spotlight on barbershop operators struggling to make ends meet.
It hasn't been easy. Since the Doomsaw intensified, I mostly go home empty-handed with no money to provide for my wife and child.
And later, we focus on prospective first-time voters in the first episode of Just Turned 18.
Oh, I'm very excited actually because I get to also have the opportunity to vote and select the leader.
Now I have the opportunity to use my time to bring someone into power.
And ahead of the limited voter registration exercise tomorrow, many will be queuing to get a voter's ID card for the first time. It may even include some of us who are old enough but have never held one. Also tonight, how much are you willing to contribute to the cost of the new force? Well, Nana Kwame Bediako, you know him as Cheddar, is seeking your support to raise 100 million cedis to fund his 2020 election campaign.
When that person that came to you to give you that money to vote for them, when they become a president, do you think they're here to serve you or you owe them? The Save Ghana Fund is just telling the nation that help us change the narrative.
You want to stay with us? I want to hear your thoughts on this. 055-1111-997, and it is for his 2024 campaign, rather, December 7. He is touring the country, and he says he needs your support. So, will you contribute? Let's hear from you. My name is Evans Mensah.
I am MFA Pau.
Well, there was a rainstorm this morning. Let's begin there because it's caused a bit of havoc across the capital. The fire service is providing some official figures tonight. They are tonight confirming that one person has been injured and 8 cars crashed by falling trees following the windy storm in parts of the capital. There was heavy vehicular traffic also on some major roads after the rains flooded homes, toppled billboards and banners, and leaving some occupants trapped in their vehicles. Host of our AM show, Benjamin Akakpo, has been monitoring the level of destruction in town, and here's what he found.
Well, it's a wet Monday morning, and with this wetness came a lot of heavy rain in the early hours of the morning. As I am told, well, we're here at the Switchback Road. The Italian embassy is right here, and the Netherlands residence as well close by. Now, you can see from right behind me the debris of this fallen tree. From right there, that's its root. It fell across this street, as I am told, and you can also see the work. The police officers, the police team just left this place in their patrol car, but there's a gentleman here who witnessed everything that happened. In fact, he was called upon urgently to come and see to the cutting of the tree. Good morning.
Good morning, Chief.
Pacho, you're from?
You're from Christopher Kumi.
Christopher Kumi?
Yeah.
Now, where are you?
We are the Department of Parks and Garden.
Okay. Now, Ebana say na no pay uwaha. Denti na wabejina.
Denti amuhane say anope mi bedu adwuma by 6:30. Inti bedu adwuma mu no within by 10 minutes. Na Italian base for mo ha no rush by adwuma mu say edua bi abu ato car so na nipa so. Ne kwenya me ni de basa no me ma me team ni nyina asa say me ye change operator e wo Greater Accra Hantino. Me ma teams ni nyina for machines no eni nyina ba yebedu ampa na guy ne hye moto no edua na toro so na soja commander ba ko bi so run car no so edua na to so
into the patch say soldier commander ne car and motorcyclist and so.
Inti ebasa no na akware da ho inti wo hyedia na se inti wo se metwitwa ne kakran
ehimporte no no hye
no hye edua na se wo hai asia ha yeyi motor ni sisi motor no me police phone de ko inti na motor wo da form ena motor ni da no so ena edua no so sa da no so but lucky ni say edua no etono 9 enani mienu so but anton the body no but the body no edua fire police commander and car no ena save you because e toso inti na be hangi kakra inti no wo hyase inti mitwitwa ne kakran saa kopem se ebetimi ayi nipa na wo hye motor na ase no ti yi ma na police for no ma no so a omede call hospital.
Okay, Jinaho Kakra, na me explain what Potokasem. So basically, this is Christopher Kumi. He works with Parks and Gardens.
Yes, yeah.
And he was explaining to me that in the wee hours of the morning, shortly after 6:30 when he had arrived at work, he got a call from the Italian embassy, an urgent situation. A tree had fallen, as we can see right behind us. And when he got here together with his team, he realized that it had fallen on an army officer's vehicle, a car, and then a motorcyclist as well was underneath it. What he says saved the motorcyclist was the fact that the car had lifted the tree a bit, but it had still fallen on the motorcyclist. He couldn't extricate himself.
Well, that's host of AM show Benjamin Akapo's report earlier. My colleague Semefa Besu also monitored the situation in another part of the city. She spoke to some affected persons.
I was here, I just parked and it started raining with thunder and then the whirlwind. But just for a second, I heard that something was coming up from the top. So I quickly parked at the side of the entrance. And later on, my son called me on the phone that I should leave there because the building is collapsing. And you could see the size of the distance. So I think the air could not penetrate. So it forced to fall down. And we're fortunate that, in fact, by morning at this time, there could be a lot of people standing here. But we thank God that we couldn't have any casualties.
So, now it is your door, main door, a tabune, a yaditi. Intimicati and grass and barber says, dear, a banisana door, me paper and a monse, I didn't know before.
That's Samefa Besu there interacting with some residents here in Accra. And thankfully, the head of public relations at the Fast Service, Timothy Osafo Afum, joins us on the line with details of what more we should know tonight. Thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight. First, though, can you give us an account of the true situation in terms of your monitoring today?
Right, thank you very much. During the rainfall, which was accompanied by thunderstorm, we received series of calls, some fires, some flood, and some falling trees. The two that comes out is the one at the Switchback Road and the one at the airport. At the Switchback Road, two vehicles were affected. That is a motorcycle and an SUV. Fortunately, the occupant of the SUV was not affected, but the motor rider was affected. At the airport, there were no occupants in the vehicles parked because that was a car park, but 7 vehicles were damaged in the process. Some major damage, some minor damage. And so, with the help, we had our chainsaw, but because of the thickness of the trees, we could not use our chainsaw. So we quickly got in touch with the Parks and Garden, who came in with their chainsaw to help us extricate the vehicles from the fallen tree.
At the last count, though, how many cars would you say were affected or crashed?
So, at the time of the incident, we counted 7 vehicles at the airport, 1 vehicle at the Switchback Road, together with a motorcycle.
You mentioned earlier that the motor rider was affected, at least the occupant of the Land Cruiser were not. What's the state as we speak?
So the injury caused to the motor rider was a bit severe. We hope that he is stable, but it was severe at the time.
That I'm told we are to expect more. Of course, we'll be hearing from the Met Agency shortly. So what do we have to know in such instances?
Can you repeat the question?
I'm asking, we are told that we are expecting more of such rainstorms in the coming days. What are we to know as the general public listening right now?
So, as predicted by the Meteo Department, this year's rains are supposed to be accompanied by thunderstorm, and so all of us should be on the lookout. If you live in an area that gets flood when it rains, anytime you see the rains coming, please get to higher grounds so that you will be safe. Because it is predicted that we are going to experience a lot of windstorm, we should also be careful where we take where we go to for protection from the rain, so that we don't go and take protection from structures that are weak, that when the wind blows, it can blow it away and cause damage to us. We must ensure that if we are taking shelter, it should be in a structure that is firm, which will not collapse in the event of severe windstorm. We must also ensure that because the windstorm is going to be very great, we also move away from trees that may fall and therefore cause damage to us or our equipment. So these are the things that we need to look out for anytime it's going to rain.
We are grateful. That's the head of public relations at the Ghana National Fire Service, Timothy Osafo Afum there.
We can bring in NADMO also into the conversation. As you know, we are now about to begin the rainy season. Today, many will say, and we'll be hearing from the Met Office pretty shortly, predicting that we can expect more rains. Is NADMO prepared? Georgia Isi is the NADMO Communications Director, joins us on the line right now. Thank you very much, Ms. Isi, for your time here on Newsnight. So, the rains that we saw this morning, has it triggered NADMO's responses in Accra just yet?
Can you come again, please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Evans, I can hear you.
Okay. Were your men deployed today on the back of the rains?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were deployed.
What did you discover?
Yeah, as earlier stated, we got a call from the Italian embassy as well, that there's a falling tree. We got one also from the Nungwateshi, the Chiblo area, that a falling tree over there. And the other dotted areas too. So our men were there. We were not able to go to the airport one because the team had gone to the Chiblo area and they were working before they got a call. So they were to finish and then move to that place. Fortunately, they were informed that another group was working on those ones. So they didn't dispatch another team to that place.
So your men were stretched today?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and this, as we all know, was a very limited natural occurrence. Is NADMO really ready for the rainy season? I mean, considering that today's limited natural occurrence stretched your men?
Yeah, we're ready. Our men are there. We have always been saying we have 3 teams that at any time can be deployed to areas within the capital. So our men are on standby and ready to respond to such emergencies.
I mean, hearing you say today stretched your men leaves me to doubt you are indeed ready for a national occurrence. And of course, touch wood, nobody wants that to happen. But you must be ready. Do you have the men? Do you have the resources?
Your line is not helping me. So,
is it better?
Yes, it's better even.
I'm saying that you look at this limited experience you had today, that stretched your men. I mean, touch wood, if we had anything on a scale bigger than today across the country, do you have the resources? Do you have the men? to deploy and respond in time to save lives and property?
Definitely. When we overstretch, we fall on our other partner agencies. The 48th Regiment is always there to respond. The fire service, I heard you interviewing their comms director. Definitely, they are on standby. Once we call on them, they are ready to come in to support us. So we are ready. When our men are overstretched, we call on the partner agencies and they come in to support.
So we've talked about manpower. What about the resources you require to send in relief to areas that may require that this year? We know every year we experience this. Is NADMO adequately stocked?
We have some stock, but we need addition. Pre-positioning ought to be done in all the regional capitals, and so definitely we need to get more stock. We need a lot more relief items to add to what we have, so we'll be able to adequately respond to any such emergencies.
And government must provide that. Have you received assurances?
Yes, it's our budget, within our budget. So it's government that releases the budget.
It's within your budget, but we're in a rainy season now.
Yes. We have some, but we need to get more.
When is that more coming?
Yes, government has been telling us most times that yes, we get some. In case of the contingency, funds will be released for us.
So they're waiting for the contingency before the funds are released?
Well, we have some, but we would wish we had more than what we have. But then that's the response most times we get, that you go use this. If there's a contingent situation, funds will be released to you.
What about residents in flood-prone areas, low-lying areas, as the rains approach? What's NADMO doing proactively?
Yes, we engage them. We've identified places we call safe havens. And that's what the fire officer was saying, higher grounds. NADMO is identified places that are on higher grounds that we call safe havens in almost every community within the major cities. And so we let the people get to know those places, and then they assess those places in case of such flood situations so that they will be safe. That's what we do. And people within those areas know them. Sometimes we've been circulating those things. We believe we'll circulate them again just for the public knowledge. The people within such affected areas know they identify safe havens. Some are schools, some are community centers, some are sports complexes and co. The safety standards there will make us determine that whether a church or a school will be used as a safe haven.
George Ayisi, thank you very much. He's the NADMO Communications Director.
Let's bring in the chief weather forecaster at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Felicity Ahafianyo. Thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight. So one wonders what we witnessed today, strong winds. Are we to expect more, stronger than this?
Yeah, thanks so much and good evening to our dear listeners. For the rainstorms, the remaining days into the season, yes, we are still expecting winds this magnitude. But then it will not be at the same area, but every other part of the country should get or be prepared for, especially our brethren in the north, those in the Oti region, those in the Savannah, those in the upper east, upper west, yes, also get ready. It's likely the winds will be stronger than what we experienced today in.
But the key concern is also the communication of these forecasts to the general public. At least we saw this one today, just 30 minutes before the storm setting. Maybe I may have I've seen it, late. But really, the communication to the general public. Are we changing anything? Is there anything we are doing differently to get the message across before it happens?
Yes, on our own, we are trying our possible best. So I will be glad if your channel can be available. And then get the forecast to your audience. It should not be when it's rain finished before we pick it. When it's sunny, we are still monitoring. So we still do the forecast 3 times in a day, 3 times in a week before we come out with the seasonal forecast, so that our brethren can have access to the forecast and be in the known. I was on one of your sister stations over the weekend on a Friday morning, and I pointed that we are likely to have a rainstorm Sunday into Monday, and this is what we have this morning. So if we get more, I don't know how to, we get access to the channels and we'll be able to lay this information, I think it will help us. We are just done with the weekly forecast for this week. And in the weekly forecast, we are looking at some areas that are on the radar for moderate to severe rainstorms within the week. We identified that some places around the Mumu area, Ahafo East, those in the T region, the upper east, the northeast, they are all in our radar that this week they are likely to have some severe rainstorms for them. And currently, those in the upper east have some moderate rains over them this evening. So we are monitoring, and it's likely to move over the upper west region.
Okay, we're grateful. That's the chief weather forecaster at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Felicity Ahafianyo. I must add that, Evans, she's a POGA.
Okay.
Well, we'll stay a while longer on issues relating to floods, and victims of the Akonsombo Dam disaster are set to receive assistance through the first phase of a government housing project designed to resettle them. The government is presently, we're told, building 115 housing units across 2 districts to provide accommodation for those whose homes were destroyed by floods occasioned by the Akonsombo Dam spillage. In the second part of our hotline documentary, after the flood, some victims say they are considering staging a mammoth demonstration as they mount fresh pressure on the government to restore them to their former status.
It's very sad. Indeed, it's very, very sad. I'm appealing to them that, in fact, they should understand that life is very unbearable for us over here. They should come to our aid quickly, give us home, even jobs.
We, the youth here, we don't have any government work you are doing. Only we concentrate on our farm. This is what they are doing in the area. How are we going to survive?
We not receive anything. I do not receive 1 CD, and none of us receive any money from the government. And we are not hearing anything from them.
If 36,000 people in upper class Accra were displaced, would we be this quiet and this indifferent? It is an indictment on us that when things affect the ordinary people, we are a little bit more indifferent. And if you build a society like this, is something I say all the time. The most dangerous creation of any society is the man with nothing to lose. That is what we are doing.
Samuel Okojeto Ablakwa insists a head should have been rolling at the VRA by now.
I'm surprised that the VRA chief executive is still at post, even though he should have retired long ago. And the last time I checked, the VRA itself has not conducted any internal inquiry. It is another reason why he must go.
As the government delays in compensating and relocating victims, the plight of the almost 40,000 Ghanaian victims continues to worsen.
The VRA should surely know much about us. They should come to our aid and knows that, okay, they have destroyed us. So they should come in a way that they can give us a compensation. I'm not calling for any huge amount. They should even restore me to where I was. In case of anything, I can take care of my family back again as it was.
All of the youth here, it's very difficult for us to make it. I want to give my children a good foundation, even that I can also help somebody. But now, in fact, I don't know how to do. I don't know, because even I don't have food to eat. At times I need to eat once in a day because I have 4 kids.
How are they surviving with those 4 kids?
In fact, it's very difficult. Indeed, it's very, very sad. I'm appealing to them that, in fact, they should understand that life is very unbearable for us over here. They should come to our aid quickly, give us home, even jobs. Me, even if they can give me a soft loan, I'll be very happy to buy my car. That's all. I know I can work, give my children better life.
We not receive anything. I do not receive 1 CD, and none of us receive any money from the government. And we are not hearing anything from them. So now I want to appeal to them that they should take care of us. They should come to our aid and help us. We are dying. We can't sleep.
How is this affecting your relationship with your wives? The fact that the man doesn't have money now.
As they get it earlier, they are not getting it that way, and that wants to become something like grudge, and because they are not getting it as we get
before.
Before. So sometimes you want to chop something to become.
If you want to do the do.
Because where you can do the do?
Okay.
It's also become a problem.
It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
Meanwhile, at the onset of the spillage, a Deputy Minister of Energy, Herbert Krapa, assured of government resolve to support the victims.
Government's priority, as always, is to first of all make sure property that will be affected by the spill. Government, working with VRA and NADMO, will ensure that the properties are restored for the persons whose properties will be affected.
But not much has been done yet. The Minister Designate for Works and Housing, Kojo Nkrumah, on Thursday, March 14, 2024, revealed on the floor of Parliament that government was at the stage of collecting background data on victims, insisting some 80 million have been made available towards resettlement.
Mr. Speaker, I earlier alluded to the 80 million cedis that has been set aside for the purposes of supporting the rehabilitation and resettlement. A part of the exercise, or the beginnings of the exercise, is the engagement to ascertain what the real numbers are, to ascertain those who have that need of resettlement, or those who perhaps require just some sort of support on their existing structures so that they can go back into those existing structures. All of that assessment is ongoing.
6 months on after a people's lives, businesses, livelihood, schools, healthcare has been interrupted, in this manner, government tells us it is now collecting data to understand who was impacted, the level of impact, and how much to even determine as compensation for these people. One can only describe it as unfortunate, if not reckless.
Disappointment mixed with anger is gradually reaching a boiling point as they have started threatening to stage a massive protest over the wanton neglect.
They have to come to our aid and support us and give us compensation. Not just they will leave us like that. And the government will appeal to them that we are not going to leave them. If not this thing, we are going to demonstrate about everything we are losing. We are going to demonstrate about everything we are losing. We are not going to give them. We have the youth. We, the youth here, we don't have any government work you are doing. Only we concentrate on our farm. This is what they are doing in the area. How are we going to survive?
We are collaborating with each other, and in 3 weeks, if we did not hear anything from government, we are going to stage a mammoth demonstration.
All the affected communities marching from here to Sege to show our anger to the general public.
The second part of After the Floods, our hotline documentary, airs this evening on the Joy News channel at 8:30 p.m. We can now hear from the Minister of Information Designate, Fatimatu Abubakar, telling me on the probe that the first phase of the project will be completed by end of July 2024.
Government has already started the phase 1 construction at foundation level, 115 housing units. The 115 housing units are in 6 communities in 2 constituencies or 2 districts.
And that's the Information Minister Designates Fatimatu Abubakar there speaking on the probe. And it's a good time to bring in George Riafe to bring us the latest from the world of business. And the city is inching toward 14.
Yeah, if you go to the banks, that is what some of them are offering. 3, 13, 90, 14. If you go to the Forex bureaus, you're looking at 14 Ghana cedis, about 30 pesos, and then the 40 pesos. There appears to be sudden demand, and we don't know what is fueling this, because we thought that was just in the first quarter. There are some who think that the Bank of Ghana is not supplying the required dollars on the market because they are in a real strong position to defend the city. And so maybe that gap is fueling that demand. Then it's a purely MFR, a demand and supply issue.
Okay.
If there isn't the required supply there, but there are some who say that there are underpinnings on the broader economy as well. Why would people demand dollars when they don't need it, when there's inflation as well, and they're trying to hedge against inflation as well?
Okay.
So all these dynamics are playing into the current challenges of the local currency.
What else is in business, though?
Well, coming up in business, IMF reject claims framework established for Ghana to seek debt restructuring hasn't been that helpful, and demand for dollars continues to increase in the market, resulting in fresh pressure on the Ghana cedi. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business.
You hear it. The freedom in our songs. The sound of liberty that rings from Kaswa to Karaga, from Tamale to Takoradi. It's in the pestles that pound from coast to coast. It's in the busy offices, the crowded streets, and the noisy schools. It's in the wisdom of our elders and in the laughter of our children. It's in seeing how far we've come and looking at how much we can grow. It's in knowing that still Ghana go be. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Water is needed all day, all night. So remember Syntex tank all day, all night. 7 years warranty. Select any color for free. In no the crack, in no the spoil. Call Accra on 0244 335 168. Kumasi 0505 555 666. Syntex tank. A strong, a tough. Water is needed all day, all night. So remember Syntex tank all day, all night. 7 years warranty. Select any color for free. In no the crack, in no the spoil. Call Accra on 0244 335 168. Kumasi 0505 555 666. Syntex tank. A strong, a tough.
We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my name is Mami Akua, an entrepreneur and a mother of 2. My work keeps me busy most of the time, and sometimes it takes me away from my family. But the safety and health of my family is very important to me. As a working mother, I cannot afford to take any chances when it comes to matters of health. That is why I signed up for a family healthcare plan from Equity Health Insurance. My family and I have access to over 700 hospitals, clinics, opticians, dentists, pharmacies, and diagnostic centers across the length and breadth of Ghana. With Equity Health Insurance, I no longer have to worry about medical bills. Anytime a member of my family visits a hospital, Equity Health Insurance has got my family and I covered. What about you? Who has got you covered?
Call Equity Health Insurance on 050-660-7910 and talk to them about your family health needs now. Visit equityhealthinsurance.com for more information. Equity Health Insurance, here for you.
Hello CEOs, the 8th Ghana CEO Summit and Expo is set to take place on May 27, 2024 at the Kempinski Hotel from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Since 2016, the summit has led impactful business leadership. Renowned for satisfying CEOs' needs, it offers actionable perspectives, strategic insights, and business opportunities. This year's theme is reigniting business and economic growth, charting a path forward, economic diversification, and artificial intelligence transformation. The summit promises CEO business cases, high-level dialogues, masterclasses, keynotes, and plenaries. The event is also a platform for the Ghana CEO Excellence Awards, celebrating outstanding business leadership and innovation. Former distinguished guests include President Nana Akufo-Addo, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and ex-President John Mahama. Secure your spot at GhanaCEOSummit.com and contact 0546 391 970 for enquiries and sponsorship. Powered by the Ghana CEO Network in collaboration with Deloitte, PwC, Ministry of Public Enterprises, GIPC, and Multimedia Group. Terms and conditions apply.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the IMF is rejecting claims that the new framework established for countries like Ghana to seek debt restructuring with bilateral creditors hasn't been that helpful. The IMF and the World Bank put together the G20 Common Framework to support countries in this particular area to go forward and try and get a debt restructuring deal. However, there are some that have questioned the process about the timeliness in reaching a deal for countries like Ghana. But speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which airs this Thursday at 9 p.m., Deputy Director of the IMF in charge of Africa, Kati Patilo, disagrees.
Smoothly as we would have liked, as fast as we would have liked, definitely no. But I think actually we would not have made the progress that we have without it. And we are seeing improvements in the process. So the time it took for a country like Chad to get from initial agreement with the IMF to approval by the board of a program and then the first review, that time got shorter for Zambia and has gotten shorter for Ghana. So it's moving in the right direction of trying to ensure the process moves more efficiently and speedily. And in Ghana, in January, an agreement also in principle with the official creditors, and Ghana having successfully completed largely its domestic debt restructuring. So I think, again, is it perfect? No. Is it moving in the right direction? That's what we keep pushing for.
Kati Patilo is Deputy Director of the African Department, the IMF, speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which airs this Thursday at 9 p.m. Now, demand for dollars by businesses continue to increase, putting fresh pressure on the local currency. The development has increased the rate which the city has been depreciating against the US dollar over the past 2 weeks. There is more in this report.
Based on our engagements with some of the major commercial banks in the forex trading business, the demand is coming from firms in the energy and manufacturing sectors. It is, however, not clear for now what is driving this demand coming from these businesses. However, because there has not been this corresponding supply of dollar from the central bank, this has resulted in what can be described as sustained depreciation of the local currency against the US dollar. Some of these commercial banks have also maintained that as long as the current challenge is a demand and supply issue, if there is not enough supply on the market, then we will definitely see some pressure on the local currency sustained going forward. Some have also raised concerns about the limited supply of dollars from the Bank of Ghana. This is because the central bank is in strong position in terms of dollar reserves to defend the cedi in these times. It is coming at a time that the central bank's dollar reserves have crossed the $6 billion mark.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuangene has ruled out any impact on customer deposits. That is, he reports that French Bank Societe Generale plans exit an African market, including Ghana, comes to pass. He noted that there are stringent regulatory mechanisms in place to protect every depositor in the country.
The only worrying signal now for the market is that once the fuel prices move above 15, there is a huge potential for
what Bank of Ghana have done, they will be very secure. They will be very, very secure. I can assure you, with Bank of Ghana proactive strategy on this deposit safety, I don't think anybody will lose deposits. The customers shouldn't panic at all. And if you remember, in George analysis, they said Lazar has been appointed to find a buyer. Any buyer that comes in would have nothing to do with the customer deposit. The deposit will be left intact. Because for that one, I trust the central bank so much that they will have regulations and system to protect customer deposit. So it shouldn't send a panic. I don't think this is the need for panic. For customers should always stay calm. Because with Bank of Ghana on the side, no money will be lost.
Dr. Richmond Etuahene is a banking consultant. Now, I expect to pay more in prices of petroleum products at the pumps in the coming weeks. Now, that's the warning coming from the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. It is coming after some significant hikes in fuel prices at the pumps since last Friday. The Chamber maintains that the projection is based on the current challenges facing the local currency. Duncan Namwa is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers.
The only worrying signal now for the market is that once the fuel prices move above 15, there is a huge potential for the cedi to dollar exchange also to move towards the 15. And so there's every indication that the cedi might depreciate further, and then again fuel price might go up further even for the second window of the month of May. This is quite clearly is that we are getting into some very difficult times ahead. I think it will be good at this point to give Ghanaians of further reduction. It is our wish that it happens. We were actually hoping that there's some stability for this window in view of the fact that petrol or gasoline should have gone up by some 3%. Diesel could have come down by some 2-3%. And so you can safely say that if you do the mean value for the two, prices have rather gone up the window when we expected some stability for the window.
And Duncan Namwa is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. And for the April report that has come out, all equities achieved a notable milestone when the total market capitalization reached an all-time high of 80.3 billion Ghana cedis at the end of April. The GSE index also gained an impressive 6.6% during that month under review. On the stock market today, if you are a shareholder of CalBank, you lost 3 pesos at the end of trading on the market today. Each share that you're holding is worth 35 pesos. SIC Insurance is also down by a peso and it's now worth 24 pesos. And that's all for Business on Newsnight. Back to you, MFA and Evans and something sports.
George, thank you very, very much. We can do some sports now, and Ms. Bao is here with the latest. Hello, Ms. Bao.
Hello, Evans. Well, it was a great weekend for Ghana Athletics because the 4x100 relay team did finally secure a ticket for the Paris Olympics. Now, of course, that happened after a rather disappointing outcome in the first heat on Saturday, but the team did go ahead to place first in the Heat 2 of that relay that happened in the Bahamas. Of course, Ghana's quartet of Ibrahim Fussaini, Isaac Botio, Benjamin Azamate, and Joseph Paul Amwa, they managed to run a season best of 38.29 seconds to book automatic qualification to the 2024 Olympics. Now, the team will join the likes of Canada, China, France, Great Britain, the USA, Jamaica, and Japan, among other countries that have qualified for the Olympics. And this will be the second consecutive qualification for Ghana's 4x100 men's relay team, having featured at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Well, the team, Fenjo Tahiru caught up with the team at the mixed zone, and they said they are looking forward to the Olympics itself.
It's awesome. It's amazing, but we thank God for the gift of this talent. And we thank Ghana for being behind us and letting us do what we do. I mean, they supported us coming here. So we're just thankful to God that we are able to go to the Olympics twice.
Okay, here's the big one. Obviously, there's great potential in this team. You two have seen this team change many times. You're going to Paris, the Olympic Games. what has to happen for you to make the final again? Because the last time you made the final and the pressure is on, what has to happen?
Yesterday in the heat, we knew we had something special coming here. It happens in relays, you know. You always wish for the best, but sometimes it doesn't go how you want it. Look at the time you run today, it would have made it into the final from yesterday.
So that's the quartet there that secured that qualification for Ghana. We wait to see. Boxing team is in Thailand, hoping to secure another qualification for Ghana in the Olympics. But on Sunday, there was also another interesting event, a boxing event at the Bukom Boxing Arena. And it was the Boxing Hall of Fame, Azuma Nelson, and European Union ambassador to Ghana, Ashad Razali, who went, toe-to-toe in the boxing ring. The bout did end in a draw, but it was in a bid to try and raise fans to support young boxers in the country. And after the bout, the Zoom, the professor himself, had these words of advice for young boxers.
Whatever they are doing, I want them to, take it serious, because, I'm an old man now. I was a child before, and now I'm grown. And I want them to know whatever they want to do, they should do it well. They should give themselves to God, and they should humble themselves. They should look up to me, so that whatever they do, God will bless them and everything will be okay.
So that's it. Azuma Nelson himself there. That's it for sports events. Champions League semi-finals tomorrow and Wednesday. And we're going to be on the road. We'll be at the Kiters Lounge tomorrow for the game between Dortmund and Borussia Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain. And on Wednesday, we'll be at the Heritage Bar. So Joy Sports Pop Series returns for the semi-finals of the Champions League.
And it's going to be live here on Joy 99.7 FM from 6:45. You want to make a date with the sports team for that. It's still live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, the minority in Parliament is claiming tonight that they have uncovered an arrangement to hand over Ghana's natural gas resources to a private company. According to the minority spokesperson on Mines and Energy, John Junapo, the arrangement was originally between the state and a foreign company, but in an alleged move to bypass the requirement for a parliamentary approval, an entity has been registered in Ghana to proceed with the contract. Well, John Junapo has been addressing a news conference today.
Has uncovered a plot by the outgoing Akufo-Addo government to dole out our natural gas resources to some private entities in a very dubious way, which would only go to negatively impact the country. We have taken delivery of documents which suggests that the award of a contract, or what is technically known as GPP2, which is the second phase of the gas infrastructure for Ghana, was undertaken under very opaque, very dubious, and suspicious circumstances. Indeed, we are getting confirmation that the original company that bidded for this contract was a foreign company. But because of greed, because of corruption, some elements in government have connived to constitute a local company in order to avoid parliamentary scrutiny. As you may be aware, Article 181 is clear that international contracts ought to be submitted to Parliament for scrutiny and approval. As if that is not enough, we have identified that there are two factions in the Akufo-Addo government determined to cannibalize Ghana gas and share its resources as if it was a booty for their own selfish and personal interests. Whilst one faction is supporting Intel Logistics Beirut, another faction is supporting Gensa for the same resources. This has the potential of leading to serious judgment debt against the state. Already, as you may be aware, Gensa is paying $1.7 for gas that is bought at around $6. This is nothing but a rip-off.
And that there is the minority spokesperson on the Energy Committee. And he also told the media today that they have also gotten some consent from the Energy Committee to get government to furnish Parliament with all the documents related to this contract.
And it takes us into Dumsor Diaries for today. And Kenneth JC has today's episode. He puts a spotlight on barbershop operators and their sufferings.
Over the period, the issues surrounding maintenance of transformers and gas supply have been successfully resolved, resulting in a sufficient improvement in power supply reliability. Indeed, over the past few days, we have witnessed stable electricity supply across the country, with no load shedding reported anywhere yesterday.
That was President Akufo-Addo during his May Day speech on the 1st of May. A day after the president's speech, the news team visited Achimota Mile 7, a community in the Greater Accra region where, like many parts of the country, Dumsor is rampant. When the team got there at 4:10 in the afternoon, their lights were off. We caught up with a barber who hadn't had light since he opened the shop in the morning of that day.
The Dumsor is very intense here. I have not been able to work since the week began because of Dumsor. The light went off a few minutes after I opened my shop at around 7 a.m. The light usually goes off in the morning and be restored around 6:30 in the evening. 15 minutes later, it will go off again. The other day, the light went off when I was in the middle of trimming a customer's hair. I believe you can bear witness to the fact that there is no light here as we speak.
While filming this story, a customer walked in to shave his beard, but to his disappointment, there was no light. So he, just like the many customers that visited Henry's shop today, either had to look elsewhere or come back later, hoping the lights will be back by then. Aside cutting hairs and shaving beards, the shop also renders manicure and pedicure services for customers. But due to the enormous heat exacerbated by Dumsor and the equipment needing power to function, that part of the business has been put on hold for now.
The pedicurist hasn't been to work for the past 3 days because there is nothing to do when she comes.
Henry Jache is a family man. He has a wife and a newborn baby. As the breadwinner of his young family, Henry tells me the financial difficulties he faces back at home due to the erratic power supply. Because his job relies solely on power to function, there are days he goes home empty-handed and is forced to rely on the benevolence of family and friends to provide for his wife and child.
It hasn't been easy. Since the Dumsor intensified, I mostly go home empty-handed, with no money to provide for my wife and child. I usually call some close friends and relatives to send me some money. Sometimes they send me 50 cedis or less. That's what I use to feed my family.
Morganians have consistently called for a Dumsor timetable to plan ahead of time, but to no avail. Henry is one of them.
A Dumsor timetable would have helped a lot. The secretary here, for instance, spends money on transport fares every day to work and back when no activity goes on here. A Dumsor timetable would have saved all these costs.
From printing shop operators to corn millers People have been sharing the struggles they go through when the lights go off at unexpected times without knowing when it will be restored. As it stands now, no one knows when this issue will come to an end. For Joy News, Kenneth Jesse. Accra. And last week, MFA, we got the minister before Parliament's Assurances Committee answering some questions on the subject and issues relating to rural electrification. But he also took some time to address the challenge with Dumsor,
which is profoundly different from Dumsor. Dumsor, as inflicted on Ghanaians, has only happened as characterized His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's governance. He is the only president on record that for 4 years that he reigned, for 4 years that he ruled, for 4 years that he governed, there was doom. If the non-partisan colleague says that now it's worse, then I don't know where his relatives lie.
So it's CCA, like he says. There's no Dumsor under this administration. But there have been some reaction to these comments he made, and we can hear some people calling to the Super Morning Show today.
Somebody stop Dumsor. Just come and buy fuel for the people to work. That has become a problem. But people will get money to fly in the sky and bath on us.
It's not doing CCA, it's Dumsor. We get power off 4 or 5 times a day where I live. Energy minister, he's not just rude. He doesn't respect anybody. And if he's the running mate, ever chosen as a running mate, forget it. Ghana is doomed.
Last night it went off and it came after 12 midnight. This is what I'm going through. It goes on and off. Is it not Dumsor? What are they saying during the night? The same people you think they are dumb, the same people will go and vote you.
Some callers into the Super Morning Show earlier today.
And this is your election headquarters. This is brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity. CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, AICP and CIMA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, and the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty. Well, tomorrow morning, many will be queuing across the country to register to vote. Some of them for the first time. And if I'm wondering, you have 2 children. Any of them qualifying to vote yet? Just
next year.
Okay. You remember the first time you queued to register?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I have no recollection of that. I have no recollection of that. By the way, we've been trying to tap into that constituency of prospective first-time voters who we expect to be queuing tomorrow for our Just Turned 18 program that we designed for this year, just to get the views of these first-time voters. Listen to the first episode that we jointly put together with Joy Prime.
Let's get talking to our first-time voters. Hello, guys. Hi. All right. Good energy right here. Now, let's get straight into our conversation. The limited registration is a few days away. Let me come straight to you, William. How excited are you to finally find your name in the, voters register?
Oh, I'm very excited actually, because I get to also have the opportunity to vote and select the leader.
I want my opinion to be taken into consideration to elect a political leader to lead us.
I like that you said you want your views to be taken into consideration. Is that same for you, Mike?
Me being as a first-time voter, I think it will create a lot of opportunity for me, for people who will now be seeing me, engaging me into political activities in my community.
Is that the same reason why you also want to register, Esther? All right. Now, Esther is saying that she wants to vote because she believes that you start engaging yourself in political issues. They see you as someone who has a lot to give, right, Esther? Now, I know that we are in an area that everybody says, oh, I'm going to register. Oh, I'm going to vote. We've heard about it. What are some of the things that you've heard about the election process, the registration process that you want to share?
Okay, what I usually have been hearing that people are normally not 18, but people usually force to bring them to the registration center to be registered so that they can get the opportunity to vote, because they need more votes in their parties. So it normally creates confusion at the registration center.
But does that work? Because we have authorities at the registration centers. Are these people caught?
Like he said, it's very true. But I would suggest that we all have birth sets. So if it's possible, then we should use our birth set to guarantee that we are 18 years, because some people will just bring some random person and then claim she's my auntie, she's my this and that, and then the person will just testify that, oh, she just turned 18 or he just turned 18, and then the person will just be registered.
Is that the same thing for you, Godwin?
Yeah, and what I've also witnessed and heard is you have to go there early. People usually use chairs, stones to kill. Yeah, so like when you go and meet those stones and chairs there, they will be expecting you to stand behind those chairs and stuff. So when they come and they see you have bypassed the stones, they will actually fight you.
And that's Shola Adeyemi, host of Just Turned 18. It airs on Joy Prime on Saturdays at 10 a.m. You can catch a repeat on Sundays at 4 p.m. On the Joy News channel, it airs at 1:30 p.m. and then a repeat on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Just Turned 18. I think it's one of my favorite programs.
Yeah, of course it is.
A part of the entire election headquarters.
It is,
yes.
And I think you should watch the live one, the TV one on television, but also on our social media page. You see why this is very exciting. Holding on the blackboards to write down the issues, etc., and talking about it. I'm looking forward to the remainder that we'll be doing with Star Ghana and Youth Bridge Foundation. Yeah,
but we'll stay a while longer in the election headquarters. We've had a lot of promises from bringing the sea to Kumasi, amongst others, a number of promises. But today we are hearing from the leader of the New Force movement, Cheddar. He's seeking to raise 100 million cedis from the ordinary Ghanaian. Would you contribute, Evans?
Well, let's hear him himself.
Is in shambles. Our economy is facing crisis. Our people are jobless. Our children are becoming hopeless because they don't know their future. And our leaders have given up because they failed us as a country. But all we have today is us as a nation. 74.9% of this population is between 0 to 45 years. It falls under the youthful age, which means we are responsible for the future of our country. And the only way for us to make it ours is to begin to be responsible for our own people and our own country. All the leaders in the Western took the donation from the people to put themselves in the seat. The people made them the president. They did not make themselves the president. They have no choice but to serve the people. That is democracy. Democracy belongs to all of us. It does not belong to a few of us. Now, when you come to Africa, all the leaders are going to the people and giving them money and say, vote for me. Why do we call this the same democracy? When that person that came to you to give you that money to vote for them, when they become a president, do you think they're here to serve you or you owe them? On this note, it gives me the opportunity that the Save Ghana Fund is just telling the nation that help us change the narrative.
Okay. So 100 million. Will you contribute? I'm dying to hear what you think. But that's how we end today's edition of Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. That's my opinion with Nana and Sakwao is up next. What are we doing?
Who stands up for whom?
Okay. You want to stay?